Hi dear friends, this is an article on queer lives from The Hindu. It is very much in today's The Hindu newspaper. So, keeping in mind the curiosity of many of my students regarding queer theory, LGBTQ community, and journal knowledge, regarding journal knowledge, because selecting an editorial and explaining it in a video is of some and up to an extent immense importance to some of my students. So mapping queer lives through books. So here why this article attracted me, because it will be beneficial for all my UPSC kind of students, those who are preparing for NET, JRF and professorship, and gender studies students also, and overall common people also, those who want to know about the latest publications regarding queer lives. One book is Transforming Rights, another one is Deviants, and third one is I Like Boys. So mapping queer lives through books, identity, resistance and equality in India. With this Cockroach Janata Party, when one or two or three, there is one bald person in sari, clad in sari, where the journalist Nincompoof, he approaches the person and asks, like, why are you wearing sari? In another case, Ujjwal is there, one who is in his own queer way of dressing, and the others are also there, and they have created a kind of brouhaha on the screen and in the social media. So recently when I saw this article, I found like how much sensitive we people are regarding the rights of the queer. So then I thought like I should read this article in front of you. So a selection of fiction and non-fiction works offers a layered understanding of the evolving. Layered is of something important, a word. Layered means to say a common man cannot understand the layers of certain things, because it requires a lot much hard work and understanding, knowledge of the other particularly. A common student or a common person with a common journal education cannot have that kind of knowledge. So that's why this word layered is important here. Layered understanding means to say that you just know about yourself. But I remember there is one great thinker in cultural studies and in post-colonial studies, Bhabha. He says that you are an alien to yourself because you do not know what your backside is. If you really want to scratch it, you require somebody else. It means you are alien to yourself up to an extent. So there is understanding of somebody, one who is queer, is layered, of the evolving realities of queer life in India, spanning law. Recently, in the end of April, there was a draconian law which was passed, and so how judiciary and jurisprudence looks into this area, that is spanning law, personal memory, family and workplaces. They show how identities are shaped by legal frameworks. It depends upon a country's legal framework that how somebody is being looked at. Lived experiences are important for both. Somebody, one who is living with these kind of people, somebody, one who are from distant looking and not interacting with these kind of people, and intergenerational shifts. Intergenerational shifts mean to say, even in India, I don't consider that it is an intergenerational shift. Even in the same age group also, people are less sensitive towards the queer identity. Clear? So this is the starting of the article. I'll not take much of your time, and we'll just start reading. There is an introduction part. I think you can see it, what is written over here. Should I more give it some visibility to you? I think this is readable for you now. Every June, the world observes Pride Month, which traces its origins to the 1969 Stonewall Riots in New York City. So now this is something very important information for the gender studies students and NET JRF students also. that Stonewall riots were there in the New York, and from there the Pride month was, it became in the fashion. Pride month here mean to say, when you must have seen people with rainbow colors flags and with multi sequin studded colorful personalities when they come out with their identity written on their bodies. Clear? So in response to a police raid at the Stonewall at Greenwich Village in the US, the LGBTQIA plus community began protests and demonstrations. Now what is LGBTQ? LGBTQIA, I have already prepared a particular poster for that. So L stands for lesbian, a woman who is emotionally, romantically or sexually attracted towards other women. G stands for gay, a person who is emotionally, romantically or sexually attracted to people of the same gender, often used to describe men who love men. Clear? Third is bisexual, a person who is emotionally, romantically or sexually attracted to both men and women or more than one gender. Transgender, a person whose gender identity is different from the sex they were assigned at birth. So that is LGBT. And Q is queer, though it's an umbrella term these days under which we take all these identities. An umbrella term for people who are not heterosexual or not cisgender. By birth, what gender is assigned to you by nature, there we use the word cisgender. Clear? It can also mean questioning or exploring one's sexual orientation or gender identity. So queer is a person, one who is not a heterosexual, not a cisgender, but he keeps searching for his identity. So there is one another identity these days, some of you must be knowing. You can write in the comment section that are you aware of the word side these days. Clear? And then intersex, a person who is born with sex characteristics such as chromosomes, hormones or anatomy that do not fit typical definitions of male or female bodies. That is called intersex. Sometimes he considers himself a woman, sometimes a man. Clear? So because of the changes of the hormones and all. And asexual, a person who does not experience sexual attraction to others. There is one person, a great showman in our Bollywood, Karan Johar. He has written a book about that, and in one interview he accepted this fact that he is asexual. Means he doesn't have any kind of sexual feeling or experience. And plus, the sign plus shows represents other identities and experiences such as non-binary. Now you must have heard people saying these days that we are non-binary. It means you can't put that into the strict dichotomy of male and female. Clear? Such as non-binary, pansexual. Even pan means all. I mean, pansexual is a new word for some of you. Pansexual is used for kind of people, those who consider as many sexualities exist, as many people are there on this planet. Clear? So gender queer, agender, two-spirit and more and more and more. And I think we'll have more words in the coming time in this. And then you should know, before I go back to the article, that LGBTQIA+, it requires love, respect, equality for all. Clear? LGBTQIA+ is an acronym now. That acronym, you understand, it becomes a word, all these short forms, when they are collected, it becomes a word. That represents diverse sexual orientations, gender identities, gender expressions and sex characteristics. It stands for inclusion, acceptance and equal rights for every individual. That is a far cry in a country like India. A brief history of the LGBTQIA+ movement is that in 1969 Stonewall Riots, I've just talked about it. Clear? Then 70s and 80s activism and awareness communities came together to demand rights, visibility and equal treatment. Organizations were formed and pride marches began around the world. And then legal progress in 1990s to 2000. Many countries began to repeal discriminatory laws, same-sex partnerships and marriages started to be recognized in various parts of the world. So this is the history, how with that riots, people gaining strength in terms of their sexual orientation and identity, visibility, and seeking equal rights and respect, and then ultimately love from everybody. From then 2010 to present, great visibility and inclusion. More people are speaking out, sharing their stories and creating change. The fight continues for full equality, safety and acceptance everywhere. So you can understand that certain words which I'm not explaining but have the equal gravity, like safety. We don't have laws. We have laws for women, rape laws for women, but we don't have, you know, stringent laws if one who belongs to this queer category is raped, might not get that kind of punishment. Clear? Key terms to know for everybody, those who are preparing for any kind of exams or not for exams, then for general knowledge. Sexual orientation, who you are emotionally, romantically or sexually attracted towards. Gender identity, that your internal sense of being a man, woman, both, neither, etc. You know, you should consider that identity. You should know at least instead of, you know, somebody else pointing it out, like, you know, what is your identity. Then gender expressions, like how you express your gender through your appearance, behavior or style. Like some boy looking person comes clad in sari, that doesn't mean that you should point some finger and poke your nose and make a question mark on his appearance, because gender expression is a right or should be a right. Cisgender says a person whose gender identity matches the sex they were assigned at birth. Okay, so Ally, a person who supports and stands up for rights of LGBTQIA plus people. So now you are an Ally and I am also an Ally. So rights of LGBTQIA plus people, rights to equality and non-discrimination, right to live safely and free from violence. Violence, you know, everywhere. Violence does not mean that somebody attacks you with a knife or a gun. Violence can be of, you know, words also, expressions also, gestures also. Right to express their identity, right to privacy, right to love and build families. Okay, so this is not the right. I vividly remember that recently in CAT examination last year and last year also, there was this topic was given as GD. That and you know, in newspaper editorials there were hundreds of articles regarding that we did not move or reach a consensus, because building a family, living happily with the family, adoption rights, bank, opening equal accounts, etc. There are certain legal problems which have yet not been resolved, and that is the reason that, you know, rights to this LGBTQIA plus community have not been given properly. So right to education, healthcare and employment without bias. Everybody is biased, you know, if we look towards these kind of people. Right to be heard and included. So these rights are human rights. When we talk about human rights, we sometimes consider human with us as gender identity and perceived identities. To some people they look like a perceived identity, but for them we need to talk openly to these kind of people. Clear? How to be an LA? Yeah, that is quite important for everybody. Respect people's identities and pronouns. Respect them. If they are standing, they are wearing sari, they are wearing anything, come on, let them wear. Listen and learn from these voices. Support by standing up against bullying and discrimination. At least we can do that. Include everyone in conversations, activities, and spaces. Suppose I am a teacher, and suppose in my class a person from this community comes, and suppose we don't include him and we feel that, you know, he's an alien, then I think we are not an LA. Educate yourself and others. So this video is meant to make many of you educated regarding that. Clear? Celebrate diversity and love. So small actions can create a safe and accepting world. So why it matters? Everyone deserves to live authentically and with dignity. Acceptance saves lives. Yes, very important. Representation builds confidence. If you go somewhere with your own choice of clothes, first of all, I will call that person that he has come out of closet. And then that representation can build a confidence in him, though this confidence has many deep connotations. So equality creates a stronger communities. Love makes the world better. So what is this poster all about? Be proud, be you, BNLA, together for equality. So let's come back to that article where I left it, that in India, LGBTQ plus rights movement has been dynamic, securing significant legal protection for the community. However, this however tells a lot more story, because it crosses, cancels, and up to an extent, make the earlier center counterproductive. The latest Transgender Personal Protection of Rights Amendment Act 2026, which removes the statutory means law, recognition of self-perceived gender identity. Now you cannot by your own choose your gender, what this law says. Introduces medical board certification and bureaucratic verification requirements. They will open up your pants and will check whether you are the person what you say, and if they find that flesh there, or if they don't find that flesh there, then they will simply deny that your perceived identity is not your identity. So that is objectionable. Clear? And this is the reason you must have heard in the recent viral reels that Mera Ling Meri Marchi, So what that means? It means they are chanting those slogans so that the government, one who is dumb, can listen to them, that it is not for a particular board, one can be biased, one can decide somebody's gender and identity. Clear? So introduces medical board certification and bureaucratic verification requirements, and there are a lot much corruption will be there. Clear? So and mandates inclusion in National Transgender Registry, has brought the gap between legal recognition and lived reality. Now lived reality is different. Clear? For example, in our constitution we say that men and women are equal, but are they equal in the real sense? Even both the ways. I'm not a hardcore feminist also, I'm a masculinist also, and I find that things are being said and written somewhere else and the lived reality is something else. So this is the same case with the queer people also. One step forward, two steps back. Medical gatekeeping का मतलब होता है, the meaning of medical gatekeeping mean to say you're guarding someone and you have appointed someone who will decide your gender, is an infringement on dignity. Infringement mean to say it is an encroachment. People like suppose somebody asks you, like, open up your pants, I would like to check you. Okay, so don't you think like the dignity is at stake, autonomy is at stake, personal liberty is at stake, and privacy? What about privacy? Recently, I don't remember that boy's name, one who called Dhruv Tati, I don't remember that boy's name, one who poses by placing his hand at the chest of the celebrities. That boy, how openly he was talking about washrooms, genderless washrooms with gendered washrooms. If you must have gone through that video, what is the meaning of privacy. So long as recognition remains, you can write in the comment section what I forgot, what is his name. So long as recognition remains conditional, equality remains incomplete. Advocate Jena Kothari explains the relationship between law and the lived realities of transgender people in Transforming Rights, how law shapes transgender lives, identity and community in India. So this is a very important book, and let me see whether I have this book. Is it the same book I'm talking about? Transforming Rights. Yeah, look at the cover page. Transforming Rights, how law shapes transgender lives. lives are lived realities and your laws are changing them. Their identity is being changed and community in India. The Jena Kothari is a senior advocate, Supreme Court of India, co-founder and executive director, Center for Law and Policy Research. Clear? You can see here how law shapes gender. So you can remember the name of the book for gender studies also, and for the NET and JRF students also. Clear? So come back to this article where I was reading from this. The collection of essays examined. You can buy this book. Come on, whenever I get my hands on these kind of books, I buy them so that I can build my knowledge. I can at least be equipped with something standard logical points where being a teacher, a teacher, one who is teaching the budding professors, can say something meaningfully, even in a podcast as well. So the collection of essays examines India's transformation in transgender rights from the recognition of gender self-determination and the discrimination of same-sex relations to the recent legislative rollback of self-identification rights. So earlier it was like you can self-identify yourself. Come on in, you can attest your forms. If you have passed an exam, you know that this is my certificate. In the same way, you know your body more. So what politics are involved in that government now wants that some bureaucracy will be gatekeeping and deciding your gender. So this is something, they're raising a question. So even as the courts have laid down a framework for equal protection under the law, the trans community continues to face, just a minute, exclusion and discrimination, and remains engaged in a struggle for basic rights to education, healthcare, livelihood and shelter. Dear friends, I feel a lot much guilty sometimes. Even sometimes when I share these kind of posts also, I tell you an incident. In Central University of Rajasthan, there was a seminar, international seminar for queer studies. And I went there with Pink Mirror, that movie Pink Mirror, and a research paper on that. And that was my first research paper on queer identity and queer studies. And I was searching terms, terminology, trying to understand these people. And there was a Facebook friend of mine, a woman from, I think, Bengal somewhere, a professor. She met me there. And immediately she asked me, because I was wearing good blazer, jeans and etc. But I have a habit of using colorful scarves in winter season. I have 4 very costly silk scarves. I don't know, from childhood I have this habit of mine. So I was clad in that scarf, and I don't know what happened. Like, she simply asked me one question that, do you belong to this community? And I had no words in my mouth to how to respond. I simply did not say anything, and I kept thinking and thinking and thinking, like how people judge other people with gestures, with softness in one's nature. Immediately they compartmentalize people. Okay, so why I'm sharing this anecdote of mine with you people, that it creates a trouble with basic rights to education, healthcare, because if somebody is like that and somebody raises a question that what is wrong, I think like that that professor was not sure enough that she must have groomed up her mind and to read a paper in such a seminar, because it's not like she asked me a question and I felt bad. Because it means, like, if these kind of real people are there in her classrooms or around her, then how she must have compartmentalized these kind of people. So this is the question, what the writer is raising here. Kothari questions the contradictions in the compilation of voices of scholars. So here, the scholars mean to say all the professors and the judges and the lawyers, activists, lawyers, policy researchers and community members who have experience in working with the wider LGBTQIA plus community. The chapters explore the constitutional trajectory of equality. Constitutional trajectory mean to say that, first of all, there should be rights, and from that angle we can question equality, protection in transgender rights cases, the implementation of reservations. Yeah, everybody, those whom you consider that that person is not equal to that particular privileged community, and then you have given reservations, you have certain things regarding reservations. So why can't you give reservations to these people also? Clear. So she is raising questions of intimacy, the impact of increased surveillance. Impact of increased surveillance is a very tough thing. I remember I used to teach. I started my career from a girls' college. I was the first gentleman, started teaching there among women, and then all of a sudden, I'm talking about 27, 28 years ago, the cameras were installed, and I felt very bad, and I went to the principal's office that I feel a bit strange to teach in front of camera, though it became a habit later on. But somebody was watching me all the time, so my natural teaching ability was hampered at that time. That's why I'm saying that this surveillance is always creating a trouble, and safety measures on trans lives, public attitudes, and structural exclusion. There are structural exclusion. If you look at matrimonials of any standard daily of India, you find that in these matrimonials, even we raise our eyebrows when even we get to know about these kind of videos in the social media reels, that same-sex marriages are there. So structural things are all dichotomous, binary, and we can't think about so there is a structural exclusion of these kind of people, what she wants to convey. Drawing on legal, social, and community-based perspective, the essay outline the progress made over the years, the continuing challenges, and the reforms still needed. So we have not got any word which should be explained. So let us move further. Lived experiences. Now let us talk about the lived experiences. While the legal framework helps us understand the rights framework, it does not capture the lived realities of the community. So this is the major argument from the writer. It is in personal narratives, memoirs, and community storytelling. Friends, this has been live libraries have become a trend in the other countries and even in India also. And the stand-up comedy is also some of, I'm not talking about the exceptional cases which have created a shameful impact on the social media platforms. But don't you think like one who comes and starts sharing one's stories, memoirs, then their personal narratives, can at least give a vent to that person's psychic health also, and even it can teach the others to other people, those who are living, because it's not quite common that we get to know these kind of people personally sometimes. So community storytelling is important, that these experiences find expression. Existing outside traditional narratives, I would like to say something here. I have been following on Instagram somebody, still again it's a problem with my mind, the mnemonic problem of remembering the names and all. That person is an intellectual one, and he's he is a fellow from the community. He says that there is a glass wall. You can talk to us, you can pass comment, you can troll us, and we look fabulous to you, but there is a glass wall of the screen. We will feel free if on the trams, on trains, in buses, in public places, eyebrows are not raised on us and we are not considered special and alien. That day will be the day when we will be considered equal. So what I am saying, that expressing or narrating one's personal narratives will ultimately make people feel that this is a normal concept. You must have seen that Bollywood has created a weird kind of image of these kind of people. I have come across in that seminar what I was talking about. Very normal people, but they belonged to community. They were like you, they were like me, but sometimes some of them were out of closet, so they could have shared those things with us. And I found that it's not always feminine gestures in a gay. It's not always, come on. It means we don't know people, we just have an image which has been drilled down in our minds from the movies. So existing outside traditional narrative is not easy for queer people, who are often compelled to create their own spaces. To write a memoir is to be deeply vulnerable with the reader. Vulnerable here mean to say, sometimes because somebody with a straight or say heterosexual personality or identity or inclination might not be too much sensitive to understand these kind of memoirs. So Michelin-starred chef Suvir Saran's Tell My Mother I Like Boys, Penguin Random House is a deeply personal and hard-hitting memoir. It is a frank account of the abuse he endured and how he found sanctuary in the kitchen. Sanctuary has two meanings. Sanctuary means to say safe place. So in Hindi we call it abhyaranya. So for animals where they have no fear. So sometimes you must have seen that certain boys in our family around, they become either silent or they start doing those kind of works where they feel safe, like kitchen. Clear? Because if they start doing outside works, somehow with their gestures people will start noticing them and then they will be harassed. There is a danger of being harassed. Clear? So let me show you the picture of this particular book. Suvir Saran's Tell My Mother I Like Boys, a memoir. Memoir means to say your remembrance of your life and you're narrating them. A son, a secret, a journey to self-love. Now this is important because Penguin has published it, so you can buy the book. Even I will also buy. Self-love, journey to self-love is very tough, very tough. People have conditioned us that we start doing those things from which we get approval from the other people, and we are less prone to do things where we feel happy and feel loved by ourselves. So, and just about this particular community, it is quite tough, rather tough I would say. From the best-selling author of It Is Not Right But It Is Okay, what is the difference between right and okay, comes a deeply personal and heart-rending memoir about growing up gay in a conservative family, Indian family, and finding the courage to be his true self. Clear? So go for this book. You can write to me also in the comment section. If you, my number is always given, that what you read and how you felt about the book. So for Saren, cooking was never just about taste but about memory and survival. So sometimes you must have seen, just talk to the people around you, there must be somebody, one who has been tagged with sissy and compartmentalized with a sissy nature, just because he is either doing kitchen gardening or doing chores with his mother, because there he feels that it is the survival mode for him. Because as I earlier told you that if he or she goes out of the family, his identity will be questioned. So the story oscillates between, oscillate mean to say dwindles, moving this and that and to and fro. The opening of Devi, the first Indian restaurant in North America, and Saran's reckoning with identity. Reckoning means to say calculating, understanding, and the loneliness that follows his success. You must have seen recently the biopic of Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, if you see also that same kind of person, one who started loving animals and in personal space, because his success created him a kind of loneliness. So he wrestles with the guilt of enough heartbreak to stop being afraid of his own truth, and could therefore write an emotionally naked memoir. Naked memoir here means to say he became open without resorting to self-pity. But saving grace is that He was not pitting himself. He was boldly accepting his identity and his truth. He describes himself as an unsummoned third child kept almost by accident. Raised in Delhi in the 1970s when plurality was an insult rather than a slogan. Thank God that it is now. With this Gen Z and this alpha generation, I've seen that they are quite sensitive. They have started talking about pronouns. They are very much fluid with every possible sense of the word. Saren does not downplay the trauma of children who do not fit the mold. Mold here mean to say that family structure. His accounts of the teasing, shame and internal panic are unflinching. Unflinching here mean to say something which does not make him shrug back. Clear? Queerness across generations. Saren's account opens up a broader question of how queer identity is also shaped within families and across generations. In Deviants, another important book, Fig Tree, Shantanu Bhattacharya writes a bold multi-generational story of three gay men from the same family who from the 1970s to the present day fight against the tide of love and dignity. It is about Vivan, a teenager who discovers boundary-breaking love on his smartphone. His parents are aware of his gender identity and Vivan can count on their support. Count on here mean to say can rely on. Rely on. And I have, I think, the poster of this book also. You can see Deviants. The meaning of the word deviant itself is moving away from the path. It means not normal. So I think that I'm not too much happy with this title. This is quite a negative title. From my point of view, what's your view? You can write in the comment section. A true story of love, diversity and fighting for justice. A courageous voice speaking truth to power. Harsh Mander. So you can see Shantanu Bhattacharya, forward by Kapil Vatsyayan. Kapila Vatsyayan is a famous name. You can search about this name. So this is all about this article, friends. Now write in the comment section how you found this article. Is it good that I keep coming with these kind of articles quite often and can explain to you these kind of things? I understand that as such there was no tough words in this article from the Hindu newspaper, but at least we got to know about 3 books and we got to know about the starting of this Pride Parade and different kinds of things and awarenesses and all. And now I think this article and the reading of this article through this video, we can become the allies. Thank you very much.